नमस्ते एवरीवन एंड सीजन चालू हो रहा है बट दिस टाइम हम लोग आपके लिए लेके आ रहे हैं अगेन लाइक मीट योर फंड मैनेजर द मोस्ट अमेजिंग डायनामिक एंड फैंटास्टिक पर्सनालिटी मिस्टर रवि गोपाल कृष्णन. So Ravi sir is basically the CIO of Sundaram Mutual Fund since January 2022. But अगर आप रवि सर का पूरा प्रोफाइल देखेंगे तो इज अ अमेजिंग फंड मैनेजर having the degrees from the US. He has a lot of flagship brand name. उनके नाम पे बहुत अच्छे अच्छे फंड्स है. सर पहले कैनरा में थे तो कैनरा का आपके पास अगर इमर्जिंग बिजनेस होगा तो सर ने उसको बच्चे की तरह बड़ा किया है. Emerging equities more precisely. Apart from that, sir was into the principal. Sir was into you can say PGM में भी सर ने काफी CIO करके काम किया है. And then sir has the amazing experience of 3 decades, which is rich of experience of fund management. So आज हम सबको आप सर से मिलने के लिए, सर से रूबरू होने के लिए मौका मिला. And I'm sure that बाजार के बारे में 3 दशकों का अनुभव, इससे बड़ी और बात क्या हो सकती है. Sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
So, sir, to start with, again, like generic question what everybody wanted to understand, and I'm sure that आप किसी भी चैनल पे जाए, everybody will ask you, sir, बाजार क्या दिखता है? But I'm going to keep this question in some different way. कि अभी सब तरफ एटमॉस्फेयर बड़ा ग्रीन ग्रीन सा है. चारों इकोनॉमी के जो पिलर्स है वो एकदम हरे भरे नजर आ रहे हैं. सब लोग हाईएस्ट एसआईपी 30 लाख पिछले महीने में चालू हुई है. एवरीबॉडी इज टेलिंग द इंडिया ग्रोथ स्टोरी, इंडिया शाइनिंग स्टोरी. सो बट इसमें ना बहुत सारा कंफ्यूजन भी एक है सर. बहुत लोग बोल रहे कि नहीं बाजार बहुत महंगा है, थोड़ा कॉशियसली जाओ, स्मॉल कैप बहुत ज्यादा महंगा है, इसको थोड़ा सा अलोकेशन करो. या रिटेल इन्वेस्टर इज फ्लॉकिंग, जस्ट एक्सेल शीट देख ली, स्मॉल कैप अच्छा है, मिड कैप अच्छा है, बाय कर लो, खत्म करो कहानी. I want your view to these retail investors. What really, how they can get out from this confusion?
Yeah, well, it's an excellent question, and it is the responsibility equally of all of us to basically articulate के exact situation कैसा है in terms of valuation, in terms of economy and all. देखिए लॉन्ग टर्म में इसका कोई डिबेट नहीं है. आई थिंक ऑल ऑफ अस आर ऑन द सेम पेज कि इंडियन इकोनॉमी इज वेरी वेरी रोबस्ट. इट इज गेनिंग फ्रॉम स्ट्रेंथ टू स्ट्रेंथ एंड इवन रिलेटिवली when we are competing with many countries like China and all of that, I think our economy over the next 3 years at least will be the fastest growing economy.
Wow.
And over the next 5 to 10 years, I think post this COVID and all of that, the world is now at least recognizing India as a major power. So geopolitical situation, जो हमारा positioning है, that has really changed dramatically. Hence, I believe that the long-term story of India is, exceptionally good. Now, coming to the short to medium term, जहाँ पे ये markets ने, have really gone up in the last, 1 year or so, and more so in the last 6 months. The difficulty is that markets generally behave like this. They discount a lot of the positives very very quickly.
Right.
So इस वजह से क्या है, किसी को टाइम नहीं मिलता है.
बराबर.
And जब तक समझ में आता है तब तक लेट हो चुका होता है.
So right.
So what is the lesson in all of this, right? When we know that the market behavior is going to be like this, it will be always ahead of us. तो आपको तो टाइमिंग करके कोई मतलब नहीं है, because everybody in the world thinks that he is the best timer of markets. कि हम लोग सारा विजन 2020 विजन क्लियर होने के बाद हमको कोई रिस्क लेना नहीं है स्टॉक मार्केट में, लेकिन हमको मैक्सिमम वेल्थ भी बनाना है, राइट? लेकिन हमको रिस्क लेना नहीं है, इसलिए हम सारा पॉइंट्स अगर एकदम रोजी पिक्चर होने के बाद मार्केट को जाके इन्वेस्ट करेंगे. That's the worst thing you can do, right? Because market has already discounted what you are thinking.
Right.
So coming back to your specific point in terms of valuation कैसे दिखता है, and in between this large, mid and small cap, typically आप देखेंगे long term में, आप देखेंगे तो ये तीनों pockets, more or less अगर 10, 15, 20 साल देखेंगे तो more or less similar returns पे चलता है. शायद मिड एंड स्मॉल कैप थोड़ा ज्यादा दिया होगा क्योंकि वहां पे रिस्क भी ज्यादा है, राइट? सो आई डोंट नीड टू टेल यू, इट्स लाइक नॉर्मल एक्सपेक्टेशन कि जहाँ पे रिस्क higher है वहाँ पे returns भी better होगा. So overall, if you see from a 15-20 year perspective, there is no debate that all the different three buckets have given similar returns, a little less on the large cap maybe and more on mid and small cap. Right now, what is happening is the mid and small cap has actually gone up substantially, and it happens all the time.
Yeah.
So, what we look at is, the premium of large and mid and small cap to large cap and discount of mid and small cap to large cap to assess कि कहाँ पर ये valuation differential है and then how we should position ourselves. Right? If you see, let's take a comparison of 2017-18, जहाँ पे, there was a massive euphoria or mid and small cap really
Yes.
went up. Tab mid caps actually were trading at almost a 60-70% premium.
Agree.
To large cap. Right now, it is about 55-60% kind of.
Oh,
I'm giving you some approximate numbers.
Close to.
Whatever I can, close to.
तो
मतलब, कहने का मतलब ये है कि the premium is very high right now.
Right.
Of both the mid and small cap bucket. तो, and simplistically put, कि जब valuations एकदम ही बढ़ जाता है at such a short period of time, आपका margin of safety कम हो जाता है.
बराबर.
Agree. And I'm not painting the entire mid cap or entire small cap as such. हम लोग तो stocks देखते हैं उसके अंदर, and then we take a decision based on that.
बराबर.
But I'm trying to, it's like oversimplification if I were to say,
generalize कर रहे हैं हम लोग.
the whole bucket is trading at a premium, so यहाँ पे कोई मौका नहीं है. I will be, that's a very oversimplification. But broadly, I'm saying because valuations across the board have gone up, your margin of safety has come down, right? So if there is any problem in terms of growth or any question regarding earnings growth आगे चल के 24-25 में कुछ shock आ जाता है या कुछ global event हो जाता है, then the risk on mid and small cap is a lot higher than what it was maybe 7-8 months ago. So I will proceed with a bit of caution. थोड़ा सा cautious रहूंगा मैं इस space में. In fact, large cap probably is become a lot more attractive right now on a relative basis. Halaki, if I look at the overall market, obviously they're all elevated, large, mid, small, everything. But mid and small cap thoda sa relatively zyada. I hope I have explained in a simplistic manner.
इसको मैं अभी थोड़ा सा नेक्स्ट लेवल पे लेके जाना चाहूंगा कि आप वैल्यूएशन आपने बता दी है कि अक्रॉस बाजार वैल्यूएशन थोड़े से महंगे हैं, बट यस सेगमेंट वाइज आप कैसा देखते हो, सेक्टर वाइज आप कैसा देखते हो?
So from a sectoral point of view, देखिए मैंने पहले बताया कि India is in a sweet spot, right? From a global geopolitical standpoint. Why are we saying that? Because there are certain sectors in India.
जी.
अब मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को ले लीजिए. अगर मैन्युफैक्चरिंग को देखें तो ये जो वर्ल्ड का जो सप्लाई चेन है largely dependent on China. 70-80% of the goods and services were actually exported out of China. Now with the risk, people want to de-risk. ऐसा नहीं है कि people want to completely move away from China because वो हो ही नहीं सकता. क्योंकि चाइना का जो कैपेसिटी है वो 10 गुना 20 गुना है. So nobody even comes near that. So let's not even talk about it. So there are these other countries like China, India है, Vietnam है, Philippines है, Indonesia है. There are a lot of other countries who are competing with us in order to build up that supply chain. So maybe after a decade, you will see जो 60-70% reliance है on China will probably reduce to maybe 30, 40 or 50%. इतना मतलब, but क्या होगा ये जो अगर 20% भी shift होता है between these four or five countries, it is huge from Indian context because हमारा size काफी economic size काफी on a relative basis it's still quite small.
Yeah.
So from a sectoral angle, I think India has got, and आपको opportunity कहाँ पे आएगा? जहाँ पर आपका core competence है, जहाँ पर आप सबसे cheap बना सकते हो और high quality बना सकते हो, right? वहाँ पे इंडिया का जो core competence है वो manufacturing में है, वो तो देखा है हमने. Because we have the largest engineering colleges, we have the largest software ecosystem, if you will. So manufacturing and particularly electronics, I think that's one area जहाँ पे there could be a large amount of scope, because truly the world is trying to shift away from China over there, because हमारा भी dependence on electronics
कहीं ना
from
कहीं
China is very high,
है
very, very high. We don't have semiconductors. There are a lot of things. This will take 5-10 years.
correct
ऐसा नहीं है कि 2-3 साल में ये सब कुछ हो जाएगा. मिनिमम 5 से 10 साल लगने वाला है ये सब एक 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 सही साइज और मीनिंगफुल पोजीशन में आने के लिए, राइट. द अदर एरिया इज प्रॉब्ली ऑटोमोबाइल्स, बिकॉज वहां पे अगेन हमारा जो ऑटो कंपोनेंट्स का इकोसिस्टम है वो इज वेरी लार्ज, एंड वी हैव बीन डूइंग दिस फॉर द लास्ट 30 इयर्स. ऐसा नहीं है कि इलेक्ट्रॉनिक्स में तो अभी अभी नया नया शुरू हुआ है, बट ऑटो में तो हम ऑलरेडी टू
पुराने
व्हीलर में वी आर द लार्जेस्ट मैन्युफैक्चरर, राइट. सो देयर इज लॉट ऑफ स्कोप ओवर देयर. सिमिलरली केमिकल्स एंड फार्मा, वहां पर भी हमारा काफी हद तक देयर इज अ ग्रेट डील ऑफ कॉम्पिटेंस. So I think these are the 2 or 3 areas which I think from a long-term perspective there is fantastic opportunities. But coming from a stock market perspective, if I have to look at least on the manufacturing, capital goods and all that, the stocks have actually run up quite a bit. So I think there is a bit of valuation concerns on all of that. Pharma अभी भी ठीक है, overall it is still
अभी
okay.
उसी पे आ
Auto,
रहा था मैं
हाँ जी.
पिछले 8 साल का
So
रिटर्न नहीं है तो कैन द
बिल्कुल.
पीपल रियली हैव द बेट ऑन दैट
Yeah, I think सिर्फ मतलब I would say that as a sector, I think there are a lot of things globally that have changed. So, for example, in the last 4-5 years, what has happened is there is significant amount of FDI scrutiny, जिसके वजह से और competitive intensity,
नुकसान हुआ है
जिसके वजह से वहां पे प्राइसिंग प्रेशर हुआ है इन द यू. अभी धीरे धीरे हो क्या रहा है कि देयर इज अ शॉर्ट सप्लाई, because lot of the because of the restrictions, there is supply concern. So थोड़ा सा ease up हुआ है वो situation. Pricing pressure थोड़ा सा ease up हुआ है. So then it benefits a lot of the Indian companies from a export point of view. Similarly, locally also, companies that are catering to the Indian population here, there is a significant emphasis on healthcare, etc., etc. So I think both put together, considering that the sector hasn't gone anywhere from a stock market perspective, थोड़ा सा वहाँ पे opportunity slightly better है.
right so look, having said that all these 4-5 sectors, what is the one sector probably you are absolutely bullish and like defense or manufacturing एकदम havoc करेगा या pharma, what do you feel like? Because there are a
I
lot of
still
buzz.
think manufacturing.
There are a lot of buzz about the defense also. Nowadays, it's a talking
Yeah.
point. Every pan ki tapri, the people are speaking about defense.
So again, whether it is electronics or defense, I think the potential is huge. मतलब if I were to sit back and say, अगर ये 100 rupees का इंडस्ट्री है, ये कहाँ तक जा सकता है? Can it go at 5x or 10x? I think these are some of the sectors that can actually do that, whether it is electronic manufacturing or defense, क्योंकि there is a lot of emphasis on make in India. लेकिन इसको आपको ये 10 साल के व्यू से देखना पड़ेगा. You cannot look at it from 2, 3, 4 years. So I'm talking only about the sector, not the stocks.
Right.
We have to make that differential.
Yes.
क्योंकि अगर stocks को देखेंगे तो क्योंकि वो काफी हद तक डिस्काउंट कर लिया है, काफी at least next 3 to 4 years का earnings has already been priced.
Sir, another question is a lot of buzz about the JP Morgan का जो बॉन्ड इंडेक्स है उसमें इंडिया का बॉन्ड जो है वो एडिशन होने वाला था. अभी इसमें ना बहुत लोगों को अलग अलग थॉट प्रोसेस है. आई एम स्पीकिंग दिस प्योरली विद द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ रिटेल इन्वेस्टर, बिकॉज बहुत रिटेल इन्वेस्टर को इसके बारे में पता नहीं है या फिर उनको पता नहीं है, और या फिर हमारे जैसे डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स को उनको कितना बताते हैं नहीं बताते, वो एक अलग कहानी है. यानी जस्ट आप थोड़ा सा उसको सिंप्लीफाई कर पाएंगे क्या, सो दैट द पीपल कैन रियली गेट द प्रॉपर मैसेज? आई रिक्वेस्ट.
देखिए ये ये जो इंडेक्स है,
जी
लाइक इट्स लाइक द एमएससीआई, जहाँ इक्विटी में कैसे एमएससीआई इंडेक्स है, वैसे ही है जेपी मॉर्गन का इमर्जिंग मार्केट डेट मार्केट के लिए इंडेक्स।
बराबर
तो इंडिया for various reasons never made it to that index
बराबर
due to a lot of reasons. I don't want to get into that given the paucity of time. But of late, last month, they have said that India has a good chance of getting, India will get into it by next year. Now, this could be possibly because Russia mein thoda sa issues tha, and with Russia getting out, there could be a rebalancing of the index. So, India ke liye ek jagah ban gaya, let's put it that way, right? And so, जब इंडिया के बॉन्ड्स अगर ये इसमें आ जाते हैं तो काफी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स आ सकता है इन बॉन्ड्स में, which will be roughly 20 to 25 billion dollars of FI inflow, क्योंकि वो पैसा जैसे इक्विटी में आता है वैसे बॉन्ड मार्केट में भी पैसा है टू बाय दोज बॉन्ड्स, क्योंकि एक बार इंडेक्स में आ चुका है तो एवरीबॉडी हु
एलोकेशन आ
फॉलोज
जाएगा
दैट इंडेक्स विल हैव टू बाय।
बराबर
आप समझ रहे हो?
हाँ
लाइक अगर एक इंडेक्स में आ जाता है तो ऑल द फॉरेन institutional investors who are tracking that
बराबर
index
बराबर
will be forced to buy those Indian bonds, and because of that there will be lot of inflows. और अच्छा, ये इनफ्लो एकदम एक झटके में 25-30 बिलियन नहीं आने वाला
धीरे धीरे
है. It will be monthly calibrated, so over a period of 10 to 12 months this money will come, right, slowly. But at the same time, there are these other indices, either Bloomberg, FTSE. There are a couple of other people who are also looking at this index. अगर वो
फॉलो
भी आ
करें
जाते हैं, तो roughly it will be about 40
ओह माय
billion
गॉड
dollars. Yeah. So that number is pretty large.
यस
Ab, now let me tell you the implications of
यस
why there is a bit of excitement
राइट राइट
around this. The size 40 to 50 billion is almost 0.6% of our GDP. It is about 0.6 times our net FDI. आपका fiscal deficit पे इसका roughly 7% impact. So it's a fairly large number. Net क्या होगा? जैसे ये पैसा आ जाता है, अपना जो liquidity है in the Indian markets, the liquidity will go up, and essentially what will happen is interest rates has a potential to come down by at least 50 basis points. That's what the estimate.
Amazing.
That is very, very positive,
Wow.
especially when we are looking at equity market valuation.
Right.
Okay, क्योंकि जैसे interest rates नीचे आएगा, आपका equity market का valuation also goes up. So I think this has got plus it gives strength to the Indian currency, etc., right? So yeah, and one other statistics I'd like to leave you with is 25 billion is roughly 10 times the annual FII debt inflow that India receives. So which is a game changer in itself.
Massive.
So it's a very big positive, but yes, it is going to be spread over 1 year or 2 years, as and when these other indices also come into play. So it's net long-term positive for the Indian debt market as well as the Indian macro and the Indian economy. Overall this inclusion of this bond index. I hope I have been able to
yes absolutely.
simplify.
तब आपने इवन मैंने जितना सुना था उसको भी और सिंप्लीफाई कर दिया आपने. That is something really great.
Very good.
So sir, coming to the मतलब हमने काफी बात कर ली, but now I'm coming to the very behavioral finance का एक क्वेश्चन मैं मतलब आपसे पूछना चाहूंगा, क्योंकि 30 years is not a small time to really manage the money. That's most sensitive commodity of the world, money management, right? So
Sir,
how
अभी भी सीख रहा हूँ मैं. I'm
seriously
still learning.
so how you manage the emotions while really handling the money, because it's a pretty big time you are into the market and you handle so much of portfolio, so much of big money. Because it is important, this question, because nowadays the people are temptation बहुत ज्यादा है, बाजार में बहुत ज्यादा buzz है, everywhere there is a greenery. So this has to get teached by the expert, and that is the reason actually मैंने आपसे question पूछा कि how to manage.
No, it's a very important question, and why this is important is because this will help in creating long-term wealth.
Correct.
Okay, there is a difference between making money and creating wealth.
Oh my God, amazing.
Right?
Powerful
ये अगर
sentence.
सोच
Powerful
हाँ,
sentence.
yes. So if you are saying, so the mindset in both is very, very different.
Correct.
If you are trying to make money in the stock market, then then you're playing a game of luck. अगर आप टाइम पे पहुंच गए, या टाइम पे अच्छा आपको इन्वेस्टमेंट मिल गया
Okay.
या जो भी है, आप आप फ्लो के हिसाब से आपने कमा लिया, नॉट बिकॉज ऑफ योर स्किल.
Correct.
ओके, अगर आपको वेल्थ बनाना है ओवर अ पीरियड ऑफ टाइम, इट विल बी स्टेप बाय स्टेप,
Right.
which effectively means that you have to stay invested.
Correct.
ऐसा नहीं कि आपने बेयर मार्केट में बेच दिया और बुल मार्केट में वापस आके ले लिया. एंड दिस इज व्हाट मोस्ट पीपल डू, राइट? इनफैक्ट दिस इज द ओनली बिजनेस जहां पे लॉ ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स काम नहीं करता.
Oh wow, क्या बात.
लॉ ऑफ इकोनॉमिक्स क्या बोलता है? जैसे जैसे प्राइस बढ़ता है कोई भी कमोडिटी का, उसका डिमांड कम हो जाता है. यहाँ पे जैसे जैसे प्राइस बढ़ता है उसका डिमांड बढ़ जाता है.
बढ़ते हैं.
समझ रहे हो? स्टॉक का प्राइस बढ़ते जाता है तो वहां
There
पे
are more flocking
वॉल्यूम
towards
बढ़ता
buying
है.
it. Yes.
Everybody wants to buy that stock.
Correct.
So that is the reason why most people have not been able to create wealth in India, right? And one also need to look at the portfolio from you know a debt asset allocation point of view, right? अगर आपका एडवाइजर या जो भी हो, उन्होंने बताया कि आपका जो आइडियल मिक्स है वो 50-50 होना चाहिए, व्हाटएवर दैट नंबर इज, किसी का 70-30 होगा. नाउ सपोजिंग दैट 50% हैज, बिकॉज ऑफ द मार्केट रैली और व्हाटएवर, has become 60 or 70 or 80, you have to make those portfolio adjustments and bring that position gradually down. ये डिसिप्लिन रखना बहुत जरूरी है. ऐसा नहीं है कि अभी 80%, अब 75-80% हो गया, अब यहाँ से और ऊपर जाएगा, आई विल डू इट देन. यू शुड नेवर डू दैट. शुड ऑलवेज हैव, मतलब एक डॉक्टर की तरह, एक सर्जन की तरह काम करना चाहिए, सर्जिकल, विदाउट इमोशन, in terms of asset allocation.
Correct.
And only an investment advisor will be able to guide you, because he is very dispassionate about the whole thing.
Correct.
Right? He doesn't get carried away by emotions. But so people are able to take proper decision in terms of the asset allocation. Second point is, you need to monitor your portfolio on a regular basis. ऐसा नहीं है कि normally I have a lot of friends in the market, bear market में portfolio देखेंगे ही नहीं यार, मूड खराब हो जाता है, that's डिप्रेशन आ जाता है, right? Nobody whereas in the bull market सबको
Every day.
हर घंटे देख,
Every day.
every
हर
hour,
घंटे
every
देखेंगे.
hour.
Right.
So this is another behavioral aspect that you need to, because this is serious money.
Correct.
Just like a job, right?
Ah.
It's actually a job. If you're very wealthy person, I would say you should spend every single day 2 hours on this.
Correct.
How is your portfolio doing? Where am I making a mistake? This is a very serious business. ऐसा नहीं है कि आप bull market में आ गए सब and you start monitoring those thing, only this thing. So and the other behavioral aspect is the sizing of your bets. जैसे जैसे मार्केट्स बढ़ते जाता है, थिंग्स कीप गोइंग अप, नॉर्मली क्या होता है, people increase their bets.
Right.
In a low bear market, his exposure will be, he will buy 500 shares or 200 shares. जैसे जैसे मार्केट डबल हो गया या whatever 50% बढ़ गया है, जो भी है, that 500 shares actually will become 5,000 shares.
Right.
इनफैक्ट उल्टा होना चाहिए, बिकॉज आपका रिस्क बहुत ज्यादा है उस लेवल पे, तो आपका साइजिंग कम होना चाहिए. सो ये सब छोटी छोटी बातें बोलने में आसान है,
बट वो
बट to implement, no, you need a lot of, discipline, and this comes over a period of time. ऐसा नहीं है कि first day पे आ जाता है, but I'm sure a lot of the seasoned investors are already doing it, and so I would say that, these are some of the small points which even I look at it, when I manage money, remind myself, to basically ensure that, you're not getting carried away by market forces.
So great. So it was really amazing, sir. We get to know today so many great facts. You speak about the market, the valuation, mid cap, large cap, small cap, तीनों के बारे में आपने बताया. You speak about sectors, segments. You speak about pharma, defense, manufacturing, and so on and so forth. You even speak about the theme also. सबसे अच्छा आपने इवन जेपी मॉर्गन के बॉन्ड का जो कम्युनिकेशन है बहुत अच्छे से क्लियर किया है, एंड साइकोलॉजी ऑफ थॉट प्रोसेस एंड इन्वेस्टिंग के बारे में भी आपने बताया. सो दैट इज रियली ग्रेट. आई एम वेरी श्योर दिस विजडम ऑफ लास्ट 30 years people certainly would be having the great enjoyment and great learning out of it. And thank you very much for coming on a show, sir. I would be more than happy again to have your time, have your appointment. I know that your schedule is absolutely packed. Somehow you managed to get the time for us. Millions of thanks. No words to say you thank you. But yes, we are blessed that
Thank you. Really appreciate.
Thank you.
Thank you. Really appreciate, and thanks to all your viewers, etc. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.